Hello, my name is Nikita Reno. Welcome to the Behavior the Forgotten Curriculum series, which is a part of Behavior Breaks presented by the Arkansas Behavior Support Specialist. Today, we're going to talk about maintaining positive staff-student relationships. Building positive staff-student relationships is essential for student school success. You do this at the beginning of the year. You're engaging with your students, you're greeting them at the door, you're finding out their interests, their likes and dislikes. However, as the year progresses, it can be difficult to maintain those positive relationships. In his book, Behavior the Forgotten Curriculum, Chris Weber suggests 7 ways that you can build, nurture, and maintain positive staff-student relationships in the learning environment. Let's take a look at those suggestions now. The first thing he suggests is letting your students get to know you. Listen, relationships are a two-way street. It's not just about you learning everything about them. They need to know about you as well. You're not just an educator. Maybe you're a parent. Maybe you like motorcycles. Maybe you're an extreme sports fanatic. Your students need to know these things about you. Tell them about a hidden talent you have or your favorite hobby or restaurant. The truth is, students will work hard for teachers they like, and they like teachers they know. One way to get your students to know you is to make connections about things that you like within the lessons and activities, the same way that you do for them. Just try to find out different ways that you can get your students to know you to build those relationships. Next, he mentions to teach your students to respectfully and productively collaborate and cooperate with others. Here are the facts. Students are going to talk in class. It's inevitable. The question is whether they're going to talk about what you want them to or not. Sometimes when putting students in groups or in pairs, they may get on a tangent and talk about things that are not in the lesson, or they don't know how to start the conversation. A great way to support and guide conversation is to use something called conversation starters. Here are some examples of some conversation starters. You can have your students say, "What I'm saying is," or "I would like to say more about," "What I hear you saying is," "I support this idea, my reasoning is." Again, conversation starters are a great way to help facilitate conversations and keep students on task and cooperate and collaborate with other classmates. Next, he mentions the importance of expecting students to know how to cooperate with others in academic settings. Teaching and modeling the characteristics of empathetic exchanges is very valuable and critical to student success. Student-to-student relationships are just as important as staff-to-student relationships. This next one you know very well. Get to know your students. Showing them that you're interested, listening, and holding them accountable are 3 ways he mentioned that you can get to know your students. Also, we know that sometimes student interests change, so you may want to give a mid-semester, mid-year interest survey so that you can keep up to date on the things your students like. His next suggestion is that you ensure that every student receive a positive verbal message from you every day or nearly every day, and if possible, keep track. Now, I know some of you are like, "There's no way, I see hundreds of students," and it can seem kind of daunting. Just do your best and whatever is manageable for you. A few ways that you can ensure that they're getting these positive verbal messages is greetings at the door. It could be a quick hi in the hallway. If you're reviewing an activity, assignment, or homework from the previous day, you can have a positive interaction with them at their desk. You can also facilitate small group learning opportunities so that you can interact with multiple students at once. And a really easy way to take data or to keep that checklist is to have a list of students' names on your desk. And as you have that verbal interaction with them, you just check it off. The next thing mentioned is to initiate, rededicate, or revitalize classroom meetings or restorative justice circles, or a combination of both. Now, in the elementary setting, this could look like carpet time or calendar time. In the middle school setting, this may look like classroom meetings. And in the secondary setting, this could look like advisory periods, as long as some portion of that meeting is dedicated to building relationships. And finally, he mentions respecting student space and remembering what it's like to be a student. Put yourself in their shoes. If you know your students well, you know when they're having a bad day, and sometimes they need some space. Nonverbal cues are really important during these times. Eye contact, a pat on the back, a smile, a nod, all indicate that you see them, you understand, and that you care. Okay, so here's a quick recap of the suggestions. Let your students get to know you. Teach your students how to respectfully and productively collaborate with others. Expect students to know how to cooperate with others in academic situations. Get to know your students. Ensure that every student receives a positive verbal message from you every day or nearly every day. Initiate, rededicate, or revitalize classroom meetings, restorative justice circles, or a combination of the two. Respect student space and remember what it's like to be a student. I hope these suggestions will be helpful in maintaining positive relationships with your students. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you check out our social media, and as always, for more information and resources, please visit our website at arbss.org.